You have to be building trust online. You
Yeah,
have to be.
absolutely.
And otherwise you're losing. You're missing out. You could have the most amazing product in the world, but if you're not building up trust online in some way, shape, or form, podcast obviously a great outlet as well,
Yeah.
you're missing the huge opportunity and you're going to lose to an inferior product.
Welcome to the Expert in You podcast, the show for professional entrepreneurs, experts, authors, speakers, coaches, and consultants who are ready to elevate their business, expand their influence, and boost their bank accounts. Join us as we dive deep with industry-leading experts who share their top strategies, invaluable insights, practical tips, and personal experiences to help you achieve extraordinary growth and success. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills, stay ahead of the curve, or find that competitive edge, this podcast is your ultimate resource for unlocking your full potential. So tune in, get inspired, grab your coffee, and let's unlock the expert in you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Expert in You podcast. I'm your host, Ann Carden, and I have a really great guest with me today, Bradley Jacobs. He is the founder and CEO of MyLance, and we're going to dive into some cool things that he's doing in his business to really help independent consultants and other founders get more reach on LinkedIn with their content. We're going to dive into all of that. So Bradley, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Ann. Excited to be here.
Yeah, it's so fun to see you again. Bradley and I have crossed paths many times, actually. I've been on his podcast a couple of times, and and a partnership that we're getting ready to spin up here. So I'm super excited about that as well. So I am very excited to talk about this system that you have created. But let's just go a little bit about your backstory, Bradley, and what brought you into what you are doing now, which is new and cutting edge, and it's all around AI stuff. And but what brought you into that?
Yeah, back in the day, I was working at Uber in operations and got a great experience launching different business lines, scaling up, one of the most well-recognized startups now in the world. And frankly, was sick of continuing to build for somebody else. I always knew I had the entrepreneurial spirit. So I left Uber and I kind of fell into consulting. I was a fractional COO and I reached out to a few different companies and found my way into making good money, working part-time, and opening my eyes up to this whole world of fractional work. And I was like, holy, this is so cool. And I started sharing my journey on LinkedIn. I just was like, why not? This is interesting. This is cool. I'll just share what I'm learning. One thing leads to another. And all of a sudden people are asking me, how are you doing this? How do you find clients? How do you set your rates? And it opened my eyes up to there's many different ways of working than a W-2.
Right.
And two, there's a huge underserved market in this fractional space. Mm-hmm. And so in the years of building, so I founded the company back in late 2019, right before COVID. And in the years of building up the company, realized the number one problem, the number one challenge for fractionals, independent consultants, and really any founder business owner is new client acquisition and making that sustainable over time. I have had such success with LinkedIn, and especially with the AI boom, trying to wrap this all together, having tools that make it easier to create content on LinkedIn consistently over time that's genuine, authentic, resonates with your ideal customer. It's what I've done. It's been our entire marketing engine for MyLance, if I'm being honest. So building really the tool that I wish I had and then enabling it to work for every single different ideal customer and build you a content calendar, write posts in your voice, make it genuine, authentic, and allow it for anyone to be able to use it.
Yeah, I love this. So we know how important content is, the right content, obviously, that's really going to support your expertise and your business. And so you've created this system using AI. It's now in your voice. I've used the system. It's amazing. I just want to say that. It's going to make your people's jobs, especially if they're solo or they maybe just have even if they have a small team, if they have some virtual assistants, it's going to make the process of content much easier. There's so many things that you have put into that system that I think are very cool. And it is the fact that it can pick up on your voice, but it's different from just like using ChatGPT or anything like that. You actually have things built in with hooks and different relevant pieces that go into making great content. So I love that. I think that's really cool. The other thing that it does is it will post right on LinkedIn. So you can create the, whereas if you think about ChatGPT or some sort of an AI platform, you have to copy paste, you have to, do all the different steps to get it to actually post. And with your system, it actually creates, and you can upload your images and things like that, and then it will post it right on the platform. So I think that to me was a really nice feature of your system as well. I would like to really talk about how to utilize the system, go deeper into how have you made content work in your business that made you successful, the shifts that we're seeing in the market right now. And I just want to dive into a little bit more kind of behind the curtains, so to speak, right? So there's so much surface level stuff out there, but let's dive deeper if you don't mind, Bradley.
Yeah, I would love to. And it's like, nothing's a secret. If someone's going to go rebuild this software, like, good luck, right?
Right.
Wish you luck. Good, go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know this as well as I do, maybe better than I do, of starting with a really narrow, tailored, tangible niche. I mean,
Yes.
you preach this, right? So every
Wrote
single
books about it.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So every single customer I personally sit down with at the beginning and we nail it down. Who's your customer? What's their pain point? What's your unique value add? What are your differentiators? And then what are the proof points to back that up?
Yeah.
So if you don't put amazing inputs into the system, it's not going to generate value on the outside. And so that is where everything starts. And from there, we built in the ability to not only add additional how you write content, so it can really start learning from the beginning from you, but also what do you know? We're basically giving it a brain, right? So you can upload your book, or you can upload your resumes or articles you've written or anything. Say like, okay, this is who I am. This is Anne. This is what I know. This is how I write. And then from there, we've built in the best practices that work on LinkedIn. So I've been posting on LinkedIn every day for 7 years. I've learned a lot, and I've worked with hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of founders and fractionals, also helping them post. And we've learned a shit ton. So it's basically programming in, and then that's kind of the base layer, because now LinkedIn changes their algorithm all the time. And I don't want to go in every time and say, all right, LinkedIn did this. I mean, we're guessing anyway, right?
Right.
So actually, by looking at the analytics across all of the users, we can then see what's working, what's not working, what's most effective, what are the different kinds of formats and posts, do links work, do photos work, do all these things work or not? And the algorithm gets smarter itself over time, which is a little scary to think about, but it's really powerful.
Right. It is.
It's a little scary, but it gets smarter over time, not just in who you are, what you know, and how you write, but what's working across the different users at Myland. So the more users we have, the smarter and smarter and smarter it gets, and it can like pivot and iterate with like the LinkedIn algorithm. So it's frankly way smarter than I could be. Like I couldn't do that, right? I don't know how I would do that as a human, but with AI, there's just things possible that they weren't even 6, 12 months ago weren't possible.
Yeah. So I would love to dive into sort of your process a little bit. You've been on LinkedIn for years. I have as well. But I am a believer that you have to do outbound to get inbound. And then all that positioning and all your content and everything that you have on LinkedIn is what's going to build that credibility and that trust with, and show you as a thought leader and show you as someone who knows your stuff. First of all, how can people now know that you do know your stuff and it's not AI? That would be one question I would have for you. How do we prove that in the marketplace today? Because I think that's a real problem that we're having. I have my ways that I do it. I would be curious about that. And then the other question is, how do you use that content to do outbound reach and marketing to get the inbound results? So I would love to dive into both of those things.
Yeah. The first one's really one of my favorites, because anytime someone comes to me and says, I don't want to contribute to the noise on LinkedIn.
Right.
Right. It's like, of course you don't. Who would? That sounds terrible. Right. And so the way I think about it is AI is developing generic content that it's getting from the web, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you ask for an article and how do you do SEO, it's basically going to scrape the existing articles, blogs already about SEO, and it's going to write you a summary compilation of all of that. It's generic. It's not that helpful. It may be helpful if you want a basic understanding of how SEO works, but it's not going to really, like, if you are that expert, I'm not really like, oh my God, I need to talk to Anne. That is just
Right.
not what's going to do it. So what is going to do it is if you go in and you tell me a story about how you used a specific SEO strategy at startup series A and grew their organic traffic from 10,000 to 100,000 over 6 months using these six strategies. And
Right.
it's your personal anecdotal experience of what you learned, what
Mm-hmm.
mistakes you guys made, the wins you had on
Yes.
down the line. Like, you can't, nobody else has that experience. It's
Yeah.
uniquely yours.
And I love this because I was talking to someone the other day too, and she said it very well. Also, she said, it's about what you've been able to do with that thing or with that idea or with that. And so people are looking to what have you accomplished with that? They're not looking for information anymore. They are looking for how did you utilize that? How did it work for you that way? So we're talking about really bringing the personal element into it. So I love that you're bringing this up.
Yeah, and I will tell you, my most successful post ever on LinkedIn has 750,000 impressions. It like
Oh
completely
my
blew up.
gosh, that's crazy.
It was
Wow.
crazy, Ann.
Mhm.
And it was a story from when Uber and Lyft launched in the Raleigh market the same day in 2014. And within 6 months, Uber, and I was on this team, we had 90% market share compared to their 10. Same product, right? Same day of launch. What is the difference in 90% versus 10? And I told the story of the five key factors that, at least I believe from my personal anecdotal experience, played a role in the 90% versus 10.
You
And
just want us to go now have to read that post.
yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I want to know what was it?
Right. Because you can't go, AI is not going to tell you that story. The news isn't going to
Correct.
tell you that story.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, it's valuable, and it does validate me as, let's say, a go-to-market expert
Yeah.
in a way that AI just can't. AI can tell you the generics of how to go to market, pick a niche and whatever, but telling you the actual specifics of what happened, and it does happen to be a brand name company that people are interested in learning about, and all of a sudden you have, real intrigue, real interest, and great validation. Frankly, for me, I got 22 inbounds from the one post of people asking to talk to me. It's like 22 sales calls from
That's
one.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
unreal, right? And
Mhm.
look, not I don't set
But
expectations
you
that
don't
that's
wait
going to
on the
happen.
algorithms to send you leads, right? You also do
So
other
this
things
is,
after,
yeah,
after
the
work.
second point to your question
Mhm.
is, I add 100 new connections every week on LinkedIn, and
Yep.
you can't not. It's like, if you're not
Right.
doing that, I don't know
That
why
is
not.
the most basic fundamental on LinkedIn is use up the connections that they give you. So many people
Yeah.
don't do that. It's so sporadic, but
It's
it is the most, if new eyeballs are not seeing you, good luck.
right. What are you doing? So,
Right.
and LinkedIn is the only platform that I know of where when you connect with someone, they are a follower of you,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Instagram or Twitter or whatever, all
Yes.
the other ones, it has to be a reciprocal thing. This
Yes.
is automatic,
Yeah.
right? So it's such a no-brainer to take my ideal customer. So this is really your question. Like, who's my ideal customer? Great. Let me go make a list of them, go into Sales Navigator, which is not a perfect tool, right? But
No,
it
but
doesn't,
it's the best tool out there for targeting. I
yeah.
mean, of any platform, in my
Right.
opinion.
It's cheap, it's usable, it's fine. Like, there could be a better one, but and we tried to build one, and we did
I
build
was going
one,
to say,
but
there you go, Bradley.
yeah,
Here's your next play.
we built
Go
one,
for
and
it.
that's a whole different conversation of how challenging that is. But yeah, add 100 new connections. My acceptance rate might be between 30 and 40%. And yeah, those are 30 to 40 new people that are seeing my content. And then I let my content do the work. I let it build up the know, like, trust factor,
Right.
right? And so by the time someone gets on the phone with me, they've probably been following my content for at least a
Yep.
few weeks, probably a few months. They know who I am, what I do, what my philosophies are, what our philosophies are at Mylance.
Mhm.
And they're pretty much like, does it make sense to work together or not? Like the conversation, my last sales
That's
call was like
it.
six
So
minutes.
easy.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're like, she's like, I'm in. I've been following you for
Yeah.
months. I love your stuff. Like, cool. I'd love to work with you. Okay, great. Like,
Mhm.
you can't buy that. You can't
Yes.
buy that trust. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been in business for a lot of years, and I have to tell you, it was never as easy as it is now to reach new eyes, to reach new people, for people to know about you. And yet I see so many people that still don't leverage those opportunities in their business. And I just don't, in my opinion, it's really non-negotiable to be playing a big game online. But so many people play the wrong game online. But it's really non-negotiable if you're going to do much in your business. And it doesn't matter whether you're solo or you have a big team or you're a CEO of a company. People are now finding that people want authentic. They want to do business with humans. Even CEOs now are realizing, I need a personal brand. I need to build myself up as the face of this company. It's not just about our product. And are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, because it's also never been easier to create a product now,
Ex-
right?
Exactly. But it also makes it noisier, right? It makes it harder to break through because it takes nothing for anyone to spin up a business.
Right. So all these people are leaving their jobs or at a minimum starting a side hustle as a consultant, a fractional, whatever it is, freelance. All these people are building SaaS tools because AI made it so freaking easy to do so. So you're
Mm-hmm.
right. The market is flooded with people, services, and products. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you differentiate? And I really believe that, especially as we continue and it only gets easier and easier and easier to make products, it's all going to be about who you trust. Because
Yeah.
I'm not going to
No,
go
I
sign up.
agree with that.
Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to go sign up for a random product online that I haven't heard of. I'm just not going to do
Yeah.
it. I don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the smart user and more people are these smart users. They're so skeptical, right? We get these inbounds in our emails and our LinkedIn inboxes and stuff every day, all day. Check out my tool, check out my tool. And I'm just like, I don't know you. I'm probably not going to check it out. So I need to know you. And we actually built our MVP with an agency. And then we took everything in house after that. But just to get it live, we used an agency. And I used an agency from a founder who was publishing content on Twitter that I thought was just amazing. He gets it. He just gets
Yeah.
it. He understands MVPs, timelines, like onboarding processes, paywalls. He showed me that he got it from his content, and it was the same thing. I was like 10 minutes. I was like, I don't need to interview you.
Right.
I truly, I like your content worked for me. I told him you've done an amazing job with your content, and I want to work with you. And he did a great
Yeah.
job.
If you do content right, it really does the heavy lifting. And like you said, it builds a know, like, and trust. And I'm the same way. When people book on my calendar, they already know what I do. They already know if they want to work with me. It's just having that conversation. How do you want to work with me? Like, what's going to be the best fit? And then how are you going to pay for that? Right. And that really
Right.
becomes the conversation more than trying to convince them. In fact, I have become so spoiled with that because I am so used to my content doing the heavy lifting for me that when someone comes to me and they really don't have a good understanding, like of maybe they saw one thing, but they didn't really go check me out. I'm almost like, it almost feels like, okay, this is going to be daunting, right? Because I don't want to sit there and convince them. Now I have an application process that filters, but still,
Yeah.
it's just a harder play to me because I don't want to be a salesperson, even though we're always selling all the time. I'm not afraid to sell, but I don't want to be a salesperson. I want you to come and already know whether or not you want to work with me. And it's just having that discussion. So, but I think I've just become spoiled in that way that I haven't had to do any real hard selling or anything like that because of
Yeah.
content.
Well, and I like to say that you really created that for yourself. Like, you didn't fall into being spoiled that people know you and trust you. Like, you've put in the time and energy,
That's right. For
right?
years.
For
Mhm.
years. And I think this
Yes.
is what people really miss because I'm sure they come to you and want the same. They're like, how long is this going to take? Or like,
Yeah.
when is this going to pay off?
Right.
And I'm like, honestly, a little bit of a red flag comes up for me. I was like, I only
Mhm.
want to work with people that see marketing as basically a forever game.
Yeah, it never stops ever.
It
Until
never
you
stops.
stop. If you stop your business, it can stop. But up to that point, it can never stop.
Right. And so people ask me, like, what does success look like? And I really tell them success looks like showing up every week. I don't even want to focus on likes and impressions and comments and all this stuff. It's like, yes, we need some kind of metric. I get it.
Right.
But if you are showing up 3-4 times a week, minimum, ideally every day, frankly, but let's just get to like 2 or 3 times a week minimum, every single week for months on end, I know it's going to pay off. Like,
Right.
and that's what I want to look at as the success metric.
Right.
Not the, okay, did I get this many likes and this many, why did this post do better than this post? I was like, it's not even worth your time. I really don't think. Someone actually asked me recently, they were looking through my content and I did have a slower week and they're like, hey, I looked at your post and they got fewer likes than I would have expected for your following. And I was like, I don't even look. I'm going to be honest. I don't even
Okay,
look.
let's dive into this because I talk about this all the time. If you are, a lot of this has to do with your target market. If you are going after really high-end clients, like I teach my clients to do, these are not people that have time to hang out online, and they do not have time to sit there and like and comment on posts. You might get that once in a while, but for the most part, Bradley, the people that book on my calendar, I've never seen them. I've never heard of them. I had no clue they even existed. They've never commented on any of my content. This is a really important thing for people to know, because the people that have time, or that is their whole game, maybe content is their whole game, right? So that is a something that they spend their time on for their business. But most people running businesses, most people that are successful, are not in that world where they have time to sit there and comment and like. So you can't judge that ever. I teach people content, but if you go and look at my content, you won't see a million likes, because my content filters the people out that I want filtered out. And so the people that I am targeting, they're not sitting around on LinkedIn waiting for my next post to come out, right? But that doesn't mean people aren't seeing it. And that's what you're talking about. That's where an expert platform and positioning, all of that comes in, and that powerful content that needs to be built out on your platform. That's what we're talking about with the heavy lifting. It's not about how many darn likes you have or how many people comment on your stuff, or comment, not content on your stuff.
Right. Well, and this really hit home. I was talking to a recruiter and they were coming to me looking for support in making their content be more effective in actually acquiring clients. And I was like, well, what is it looking like now? Because they were publishing content, and all of their content, they were optimizing for likes and comments. And so all the people looking for jobs were the ones liking and commenting. So they were doing great from a metric standpoint, but they were all the wrong people.
Yep.
Right. And so I was like, look, when we work together, your engagement numbers are going to go down. I'm just telling you.
I tell my clients the same thing. Don't expect the engagement numbers. That's right.
Right. And so you are going to filter out those people because you have plenty of candidates in your pipeline, right? Like, that's not the problem.
Right.
Finding companies to hire you is. And so you're exactly right. Like, it is astounding to me, the people that come on to a call with me and they're like, I've been following you for a year. I'm like, really? Because I've never seen your name. Like,
right. No, that's right. Yeah.
This is exactly the same.
One of the things I always tell my clients when we start shifting their content is you're posting for buyers, not engagers. Do not confuse the two, right? Yeah. And it's a mindset shift, because people love that dopamine rush when people are liking their stuff. Well, we all do. Who doesn't like that, right? You love to know that the stuff you're putting out there is valuable. But the real proof is in the pudding when they book on your calendar and they're ready to buy.
Yeah. And it's really developing a muscle. And I'm sure you dealt with this with your podcast as well, is I think we published 40 to 50 episodes before we really saw some decent traction in the podcast. And it wasn't about the numbers. It was about showing up every week and just providing as much value as we could provide. That's it. And that's all I focused on. True. I'm like, I'm not even going to look at the numbers. I know how long this takes. Right. Or actually, I probably didn't know how long it takes, but I knew it takes a long time, and I knew I get to be consistent. And there's a muscle that especially newer fractionals, newer founders, you have to build it over time of I'm going to show up consistently. I'm not going to take it personally if my post doesn't do well. I'm not going to get down. I'm not going to like give up on my strategy. Maybe over, I need to iterate. That's fine. Like look at what's working and what's not working. But it's building that muscle and not getting down when the metrics aren't through the roof.
Yeah.
And it's not normal in our society. Like we want the dopamine hits. Our phones are designed to give us that, right? All social media, everything is designed for the quick win because that's what feels good. But that's not what in reality, what being a business owner and doing marketing day in and day out is really like.
Well, and one of the things that I do when I'm working with my clients is we implement an outbound and an inbound strategy. So the inbound is the content, but then how do you use that content? You don't just put it up and hope and pray, right? There are ways to utilize your content and share it with the people that you want to share it with, that you want to see it. And that's an outbound strategy. And so I think people get confused a little bit. Positioning is one thing. Positioning is the outside perception people have of you and your brand and what you do. So that's everything they're seeing. That's everything they see on the outside. But then lead generation is a whole nother play. And they're two different systems, and people need to understand that. A brand is one thing and all of that. And that's the foundation for your business. But then you need an outbound strategy to also make sure that the right people are seeing your content, doing all of that. And that's, I think, a piece that a lot of people are missing and why they get so discouraged with content, and they're measuring the success of content by the likes. But that doesn't have anything to do with money in the bank or building your business. It's part of it. It's a piece of it. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I like to think of the content is almost like the middle of the funnel, warming up, trust building.
Nurturing. Yep.
Yeah. Nurturing. So that when I reach out to you, you are warm. You are,
right.
You know who I am, right?
Yes.
And look, it's not 100% response rate, but
it's a long game. It's a longer game. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So what I like to do, I have this it's three parts for me. It's part one, make a new connection, right? Someone who's my buyer. Two, publish content consistently that warms up with them. And by the way, when I make the new connection, I introduce myself. It's not a hard sell. It's not a pitch. It's just hey, I'm Bradley. This is what I do. I'm going to be publishing content. If I can be helpful in any way, let me know. Then I let my content do its job, warming, nurturing. And then a month down the road, I reach out and say, hey, are you up for a call? Then that's more of a I can offer some value on a call. So do you want to, and then that ends up being my sales call. Right. Yeah. And so it's really simple. Pretty much everyone that works with us implements this strategy, and it's simple and it works. It's just, it's
and that's the thing. It doesn't have to be difficult, right? But people don't understand this. It's second nature for you and I, but most people don't understand this because they don't understand marketing in the way that it needs to be done. But I love this. So first thing I want to just say is we're going to put the links to your system in the show notes and everything. But if you are looking for a way to get content out in your voice, more authentic, get it out faster, really speed to your platform, your content, I really recommend Bradley's system. It's great. And I think you're going to do really well with that. I know I'm going to recommend it for my clients. We've already talked about that because it is something that they struggle with. And I also want to say, okay, I'm probably going to get dinged for this, but it's better than a VA. And the reason I say that is you can have a VA running it once you get it up and going, but it's better than a VA because in my opinion, social media agencies that are posting content and VAs, I don't think they do a really great job. Because anybody can do it, right? And most people don't have a good enough understanding of your brand, your voice, what you are trying to drive people to. They don't care about the revenue. They're looking at the numbers. So a lot of agencies that are posting social media and VAs, they're caring about the numbers. It's like all the pitches I get about my YouTube channel. I'm like, please, oh my gosh, it just makes me crazy. Not enough people are seeing your content just because they're not commenting or whatever, doesn't mean anything. So it's about quality over quantity. And so your system's so great for that. And that's where I was going with this. It was a little long-winded, but that's where I was going with this. It's a great way for you to really get that content out faster and easier. And then you can turn it over to have someone do it with you when you have the strategy in place, and you have that your system helps with the strategy as well.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think we have competitors out there and they're reliant on you to come up with that strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both know no one is good at coming up with their own ICP, their own.
I help people do it all the time because they're not. That's right.
Right. Yeah, and I don't let someone use the tool unless they work with me on that, because even the people that, and we ask the customer actually, like, give us the inputs and then we'll build it out with you.
Yeah.
No one builds out those inputs well. Not a single person. Even the best marketers in the world that I've worked with, they come to me and they're like almost a little embarrassed, right? They're like, Bradley,
it's hard to do it for yourself. I mean, I can do it for other people all day long. And anytime I have to do something for myself, I'm like,
yeah, I hire someone.
Too close to it.
Yeah, I'm honest. I hire someone to help me. I do this for hundreds and hundreds of people, but I don't do my own.
I hire mentors and people to help me too, because you're just too close to it. You can't see what you can't see. Yeah, you've got blind spots. So.
Yeah. And the other thing we've done, because so much that I believe it's so important that it really does sound like you. And we've added transparency into the app of the 20 different factors that we use across formatting, across language, tone, phrasing, on down the line, to show you what our AI is learning about you. So it's a lot of tools out there like, I promise it learns. And it's like, okay, what does that really mean? Right. And so we've surfaced that to the user so you can see what it's learning. You can reject change, like, no, I don't actually want that. And like, yes, I want this. So it does it all on its own, but we're also giving you that transparency and a little bit of control. So that it, like, again, if you used it for a few weeks and then you turned it over to a VA, it will have learned enough that it will work for you. It'll sound like you, it'll resonate with your ideal customer. It keeps the strategy like you're good.
Yeah. And just on a side note, don't ever turn anything over to a VA and not, or any employee for that matter, and not be monitoring what's going on. I see 100%. People do that, hands off. And then it's like, what is happening? Yeah. Don't do that either. So that's just a little business advice there. But Bradley, this has been great. Thank you so much. And final words that you would like to leave people with. Yeah.
I mean, every single business owner, I'm going to say the word should be showing up on LinkedIn on a weekly basis. And whether you use us or not, obviously we built a tool to make it easier and more powerful, but just show up, just tell a story, right? Like we both talked about those personal anecdotes. So, I see a lot of fear and a lot of imposter syndrome and a lot of cringe, contribute to people not wanting to show up on LinkedIn. And it's just a huge miss. Like, your customer is there. There's 1 billion plus users on LinkedIn, and you just can't not be on there. It's so inexpensive to be on there.
I actually want to add to that. One of the things I say is, first of all, LinkedIn is a search engine, just like Google. So a lot of times LinkedIn, when your profile is optimized, and it's a free tool, right? So when your profile is optimized, it often will show up above your website if people Google you. So to not utilize a free tool that is like a mini website, really, there's nothing else out there that keeps content on like LinkedIn. To not utilize that is crazy. So even if it's not going to be your main playground, you can still find partnerships there. You can find employees there. You can find investors there. You can find nonprofits. There's so many ways to utilize LinkedIn that it's just crazy. If you're in business at all, you should be there. Even if it's not where your clients hang out or where your clients are, you still should be building it up, because it will just help your business so much. And here's a statistic that we want to share as well. When there was a survey done, people said that they would trust a brand. 70% of the people surveyed said they would trust a brand more if they had a good LinkedIn presence. That means you're silently losing business if you are not there. So I just had to throw that in. And
it's perfect. And it just shows, right? Like, you have to be building trust online.
Yeah,
you have to be.
Absolutely.
And otherwise you're losing, you're missing out. You could have the most amazing product in the world, But if you're not building up trust online in some way, shape, or form, podcast, obviously a great outlet as well,
Yeah.
you're missing the huge opportunity and you're going to lose to an inferior product.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're not doing the work. You have
Yeah.
to do the work. So thank you so much, Bradley. This has been fun as always. And thanks for sharing. And I wish you all the best of luck with your system. I think you're going to do great with it. And I know I'm excited about it. So everyone go check it out. Do you have any kind of a trial or anything, Bradley? Or
we have a LinkedIn audit tool, which will
Okay.
give you feedback on your profile. We don't do the free trial because I meet with every user to nail down your niche and positioning and do all that work. And so, yeah, we have a demo of video online where you can see what it's actually going to look like in there. And we have a free audit tool. So come check us out. I'm happy to, just like you do, I'm happy to chat with anyone and do a quick strategy session and see if it's a good fit.
Sounds great. Well, thank you so much for being here. All right, everyone. Thanks for being with us again for another episode. Make sure you subscribe to the show and help us get it into the top 1%. And share it. I always say sharing is caring. So God bless you all. Go rock your business. And until next time, bye-bye.
The content of this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Although I share strategies, ideas, and success stories based on real experiences, results are never guaranteed. Every business is unique, and outcomes depend on individual effort, market conditions, and many other factors. By listening, you agree that I and my guests are not responsible for your results or actions based on the content shared. Thank you for tuning in today. If you're as excited as I am about scaling up your influence, business, and bank account, then I have just the thing for you. But first, make sure you subscribe to the show. Second, make sure you share it with someone you care about because sharing is caring. And third, head on over to join me in my next free virtual exclusive workshop where we'll explore proven strategies to boost your business and maximize your potential. Look, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you're looking to take your business to the next level, my workshops are designed for you. So head on over to expertinyouworkshop.com to reserve your spot and get ready to transform your expertise into extraordinary success. I'm looking forward to seeing you there and helping you achieve incredible growth. Until next time, make sure you're always seeking the expert in you, and God bless. Have an amazing day.